I love The Eternals, easily my favorite of the post-Endgame movies. It stumbles a little, but with all that it gets right, being one of the only superhero movies in recent memory that didn't feel like a commercial for an upcoming movie and was a story about people with conflict and scope, it's kind of bonkers so many people complain about the Marvel formula and then a movie comes and does something different and people sleep on it. No justice in this world. My least favorite parts are when it's trying to tie in with the rest of the MCU. It's very clumsy with Black Knight and Blade for whatever thing they'll be in next. I like Jon Snow's relationship with Cersei, but I wanted to see the relationship, not, hi, I'm the Black Knight, okay, bye, see you in the post-credit scene. But they didn't have time for relationship stuff because this movie's introducing 300 characters we have to keep up with. Compared to the other movies in the MCU where you already knew most of your cast already, this is a lot to handle in so little time. Yes, I'm aware of the unwieldy runtime, but with so many new characters all vying for screen time, it's still so little time. This would have made for a better mini-series where each episode could focus on one Eternal, showing what they were going through in different points in the past and what they're up to in the present day. I say this as I liked all the characters. Salma Hayek was kinda wasted here, and other than confident leader in the past, I don't know much about her, but I would like to. I loved Mockery's kind of innocence that none of the other characters had, but she's hardly in the movie. You ever see a movie and you know conflict is what drives stories, so you get why characters are conflicting, but you still find yourself asking why are they doing that? This movie doesn't have that. I get why Sprite and Kingo aren't on speaking terms, but I also get why Kingo went and did his thing and left her behind. I pay it the highest compliment when I say I wanted more, and if you had more, you could do something with the Deviants, who are the main antagonists for the Eternals in the comics, but here, they're meant to distract us until we get to the real bad guy. It's possible some of what I'm suggesting here might get covered in a sequel, but if you had more time to explore these characters and the lore, you could play around with how the Deviants aren't bad, they're just drawn that way. A big deal in the movie is the Eternals are robots following their programming. Some of them think they should stick to their programming, others feel more conflicted. The Deviants are also created by the Celestials and are just doing their bidding. Even though Ikaris is the true final boss, that doesn't mean the Deviants should get swept under the rug so quickly. While the Eternals wring their hands on what they should do, maybe the Deviants should as well. You gods hunted my kind for millennia, but we didn't ask for this any more than you did. I really liked Ikaris, but killing himself because of the choices he made is much less interesting than what could have been done with him if he stuck around. Nearly all his actions center around his family. He knows the Earth is on its last legs, so he wants to save the other Eternals, and you can tell it breaks his heart that from his perspective, they would rather stay and die with this world. I get it, you've followed orders your whole life, you turned on your leader when she tried to go AWOL, and now your girlfriend hates you. That's a lot to handle, so I can see where they were going with his death, but hear me out. Since he failed in upholding the Celestials' plan to hatch a new Celestial, this world that he's protected for millennia is now all he has. He can't exactly tell the other Celestials, hey, I tried, it's their fault. Are they going to believe him? I mean, maybe, I guess they can read their minds, but shh. Since he's left with an untenable situation, he thinks the best course of action is to be the hero he's always seen himself as. Try to save this world that not too long ago he didn't think was worth saving. Since the movie is all about moving past your programming and forming your own person with your own choices and actions, maybe Ikaris can do that too. Ikaris saw himself as Marvel's Superman, so to speak. Who will lead us now that Steve Rogers is gone? I will. Then they joke that Salma Hayek didn't even trust him to lead them, and you can tell that hurts him. Now that all your Eternals have either been kidnapped or left Earth to find other Eternals on other worlds, in your sequel, what if Ikaris tries to save the Earth from the Celestials? This isn't what I wanted, but since what I did want is now impossible, I'll make sure my family sacrifice won't be in vain. He might could even convince the Deviants to help him. It's their world too. They don't want to die. Now look me in the eye and tell me you don't think that's cooler than him killing himself. Then there's the post-credit scene. Because of this one scene, the entire movie makes so much less sense, and most of the Infinity Saga as well. I think Chloe Zhao works much better when she's got her own narrative that isn't connected to a previously established world. There have been other creators who didn't mesh 100% with the other movies and the direction the world went, but in my humble, nothing quite as egregious as the scene that reveals Thanos is also a creation of the Celestials. In the comics, Thanos and Star Fox are Eternals, but the Eternals are biological beings, not programmable robots. I was okay with changing them into robots. It works with the themes Zhao is working with, but this change does not work with Thanos. Jon Snow asks, why didn't you stop Thanos?
So why didn't you guys help fight Thanos? Why didn't you guys help fight Thanos? Why didn't you guys help fight Thanos? No. Sorry.
And Cersei says celestial law prohibits interference in the affairs of mortals. I buy that. In a cast this large, I do not buy that none of them would have created a superhero identity and been out there doing stuff during the pre-in-game movies, but as a rule, that works enough for me. But why was Phastos building atomic bombs for the humans, and Druid kidnapped some South Americans and built his own secret tribe? You might say the Celestials don't care what happens to the humans as long as this world is nice and cozy for the Celestial baby that's about to hatch. And that might be true, but then I would also point out someone like Ikaris would probably be calling out his family for substantially breaking the rules like this, since they don't know the Celestials are planning on letting this world die. But if you tell me Thanos is an Eternal, that means he's also a robot created by the Celestials. So he's allowed to destroy half the population of the universe, which I don't know. Does that include Celestials? That's okay, but the Eternals aren't allowed to stop him? I wouldn't have Thanos and Star Fox be brothers here. I've never read much with Star Fox. I don't know if having a madman for a brother is a gigantic part of his character, but Thanos, he's gone. We're not going to see him anymore, so I, for one, don't need that connective tissue. You can have Star Fox show up, say, hey, you're not the only Eternals who have broken free from their programming, something like that. As for why they didn't stop Thanos, well, a number of reasons. None of the Avengers have any of their contact info, so they can't keep these guys in the loop on what Thanos is doing. At best, they knew about an alien ship showing up in New York, and by the time any of them could have arrived on the scene, it was gone. Also, most of them retired from being a team by this point. Kingo's an actor, Cersei's a teacher, Gilgamesh is taking care of Thena. They're either incapable or unwilling to be heroes anymore. Cersei could say, we protected this world for thousands of years and things kept going wrong. What's the point? We wanted to just live our lives. Is that so wrong? There are mortals who can take care of this kind of thing. Sometimes one of us will break the rules. Phastos thought he could be sneaky, give little teensy pointers to Robert Oppenheimer here and there, and look what happened. If we stop Thanos, what if the Obsidian Order comes after us for revenge, and then we're not here to stop the deviants? The fact I'm spending more time on this than the movie did is a problem, but when you're doing a weird sci-fi fantasy epic like this, you have to establish how the world works, because it's not our world. We don't know how it works. When you wave your hand and tell us to forget it, no, we can't do that. Plus, if this was a miniseries, you could spend more time on this. I love the movie, I promise. Most of this is just me saying I want more, and I don't want to wait until 2026 to get it. Hope you guys like this one. If you did, I'll be back in the future for something else. So until then, catch you later. Have a good one.